as we continue our knowledge sharing mission, we have Laurence with us today. Please, Laurence, can you say a little bit about yourself and your role at Nutanix?
Hello, I'm very happy to be with you this morning. Thanks for the invitation, first of all. I'm Laurence Lepelley. I lead marketing for Nutanix on the France and Northwest Africa coverage. So I've been in the IT industry for 13 years already, quite a long time. And at Nutanix for 6 years already. For a fun fact, I was interviewed while I was fully pregnant at Nutanix. So 8 months and a half, that was really critical moment. But they decided to go with me. That was a very positive signal to me. So I'm very happy to be in that company. And I started as field marketing. And then after a year, I got the opportunity to become head of marketing and more recently, director. So it's a great journey at Nutanix I've been leading.
That's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about what were maybe some challenges that you encountered on that journey of yours?
Yeah, so I would say on the main challenges, the past 2 years were really focused on pipeline generation. For my specific region, we had a gap in terms of pipeline generation between our targets and achievements. So during 2 years, I've been partnering with the general manager on this specific topic. We've created some pipeline generation days for salespeople, also for inside sales, pre-sales, everybody around us to start this dynamic and make sure that creating more pipeline will help us to get the right coverage to make the quota. So that was really business-oriented. First step, create pipeline. Now this piece is done. We have a new challenge in front of us that is also a key point, I would say, because it comes from the salespeople directly, and they need help and support to get in touch with CXO. So you know what I mean, of course. But reaching the right people, IT decision maker is the most important piece they need help with. So that's where I will focus on the coming months, quarter, to make sure we can move the lines and create connection for them.
How are you approaching that focus in terms of creating connection with the CXO leaders? Are you organizing specific events, roundtable events, or what is your marketing strategy in terms of that?
So I said I'm managing France and Northwest Africa, and I have completely different situation between those two areas. So in Northwest Africa, we have the right level of engagement, especially in Morocco. And in other countries, we try to piggyback on CXO clubs, like in Senegal or Ivory Coast, things like that. So we have a kind of good engagement, I would say. For France, it's totally different. And our big topic at the moment is to create a community and to get in front of the right people. So as Nutanix, we struggle with this piece, and we've been trying and trying. So I take a new angle that we don't do it ourselves fully, but we rely on partners that are established, who have the connections, and we work with them to be as a sponsor and in front of the right people. So it's a new version of it, but also we have our own events where we try to position ourselves on the new stories, the new platform we are trying to provide to customers. So I would say we rely on third party, but also we engage with our install base. We have two components.
Got it. And how would you define success in marketing today?
So for me, success in marketing is really being trusted by the sales, because field marketing is really create business with them. So we don't just do marketing for marketing itself. What we really want to do is to support them in getting new opportunities, new contacts, and start to generate leads and then go to the deal closing. So sales and marketing partnership, if that's in place, that's a success to me. And I would say another point is when you start to be copying, it's a warm. So if people start to do the same that you are doing, then you are in the right direction. That's what I measure, because I take care of a region amongst EMEA. When I see my initiative spread across the other country, I'm like, okay, that was the right thing to do.
Awesome. And since you mentioned sales and marketing, what is the relationship between sales and marketing in Nutanix? Is there tension? Is there, what's going on?
Yeah, I'm very lucky, I would say. I know that's sometimes difficult to create this relationship and this trust, but I'm really having a strong relationship with a general manager who leads salespeople. And we partner together when we create the plans, when we deliver and we execute. I get support from him, he gets support from me. So it's going pretty well. And we try to get a bottom-up approach. So we have programs coming from corporates. That's one thing we try to use. But also we initiate discussion locally with field sales. And from that, once we have the discussion, we build the plan, adding some programs when it's needed. But it's really like a motion that we do together. It's not marketing doing the marketing plan.
Got it. That's awesome. And that's very fortunate also that you have this great synergy within the sales and marketing team. It makes things a lot easier, I bet, for the marketeers.
Yeah.
So talking about now successes and a bit challenges, but I would like to tackle the next question in terms of maybe it sounds a bit broad, but what do you think is the biggest challenge that marketeers face today in general, not only at Nutanix, but in general? And how would you approach it?
I think that the key word at the moment is really AI. What would we do with AI? That's some question we don't have.
I was waiting to hear AI.
Yeah, we all hear about it. We don't know it that well. We are like, okay, it can be useful, but how? So I would say at an individual level, practice as much as possible, try to use the tools that are available. You will test something, fail sometimes, but learn a lot. But that's individual level. Now, when it comes to the organization itself, it's another discussion because it's really broader in the organization. It's reviewing the processes, how we work, and even sometimes how teams are functioning together. So we need to break silos. We need to start completely a new mindset. And that's where it's difficult because it's not just buying a tool. It's really transformation.
Exactly. I agree. And now I will say to kind of develop on that, maybe what would you say is the biggest opportunities or tools that marketeers have today that maybe weren't available in the past?
It's kind of related. I would say we have a mine of gold that is data. In the past, we didn't have so much data about our customers, but also prospects, how they consume content, what they want to see, what they like, what they don't like. And it's not about tracking people just to spy on them. It's really not the point. It's really trying to be relevant in their journey. What do they want to know, when, and give the appropriate answer, because sometimes they are not available. If you try to call them every morning, that's a fail. They have something else to do and it's painful in a way. But if you know that when there is this signal, they want to receive a case study to understand the use case, and you provide it at the right time, then that's very relevant, I would say.
Absolutely. And I would now like to kind of move this interview from general, like we started, challenges in marketing, successful focus points, what success looks like, what it doesn't. We went through that. So I would like to kind of now reflect on your professional journey a little bit more. So how you really got started in marketing, what made you interested in it? Because I saw that you also, in your educational background, you have marketing at its core, right? So it seems to me that you were, from the get-go, you knew what you wanted and you were perhaps passionate about it, but I just would like to know more why and what brought you to that.
Yeah, I have a degree in marketing, so I was already onboarded when I was studying. And when I was studying, I was doing management globally, but the last year was really where we start to focus on one competence, one skill we want to develop. And I picked marketing for one reason, is like I like to understand what others do in the company. And I think when you are in marketing, you have this visibility because you need to talk to everyone, every function is a partner. So I like this 360 view that you get in marketing, and also your day-to-day is different every day. So
Or like a puzzle, like a huge puzzle, right? And there's so many puzzle pieces and so many components, right? So you like, I would assume, this holistic approach to business, right? Really encompassing and taking into consideration all the components of the business and putting it all together to advance, of course.
Yeah,
and that's strategy, right? That's awesome. And now, what would you say, or what career advice would you give to anybody that's starting in the marketing industry?
I would say be curious, really. Try to be on the field, try to go to events, to go to a lunch with an executive that is coming to your office, to broaden your view as much as possible. Go to talk to a pre-sales for a coffee. Every time you will learn something. So field marketing is really creating relationship, trying to understand. As much you go on the field, as much as you read, as you deep dive into something, the better you will get.
Absolutely. And as the year is coming close to 2026, how would you describe maybe this past year, or in general, just your journey as a marketeer and now CMO as a leader in Nutanix? And what are some maybe New Year's resolutions that are in your mind?
Yeah, end of the year is always an interesting time because that's the moment when you look back, what has been a success, what didn't work, what are the area of development, and preparing the plan. So it's like the moment you sit down and try to analyze what you've been doing. So that's always where you can get new ideas, fresh mind to start the new year. And for me personally, it has been a very good year. So I'm super happy. I got promoted as a director. It was a big step for me. So I would say all the work that has been done behind the scene was suddenly visible and concrete to me. So that was a very good year. Now for 2026, I think there is a component I would like to try, and that's good to tell you during the podcast because I would like to start a podcast. I think that's a super great idea. People like it. It's easy to consume, but also I want the customer to tell their story because when we do marketing, sometimes we tell our story, what we do, what we position, features, what we can provide. But then I would like to understand better how the customers decided to use our solution, what are their contexts, their challenges, and then we can have new discussion, new idea, and maybe do things better.
Got it. No, that totally makes sense. And listening to the customer is extremely relevant. So actively listening to what they have to say is very, very important. So would you say the number one on to-do list for 2026 would be the podcast initiative?
Yeah, I think that's my goal. Trying to launch the first story in the first quarter.
That's awesome. Well, good luck with that. Honestly, it's a great idea. It is, like you said, it's really easy to consume. People love it. So good luck. And now, how would you describe the role of the marketing head or director as yourself in one word, and why?
That's a difficult question to condense one function like this, but I would say we are bridge builders. We really try to create connection with our prospects, our customers, but also internally. We try to understand what the pre-sales do, what the sales do, and we are sometimes creating those bridges between different teams because we are centralizing a lot. For example, I've been leading the flagship event for 3 years already in Paris. That is 1,200 people last edition. So kind of massive event. And for that one, I really need everyone in the organization. The whole region is mobilized. So I will partner on the content with pre-sales. I will be on stage with the general manager. I will drive registration with the sales and inside sales. Everything comes together. And that's where you can feel the dynamic of the whole organization. I love it.
Would you say that's the most successful event or engagement piece you've hosted?
Yeah, I think that's the most impactful. in terms of visibility, but also business generated. And I'm lucky because this year I will lead the EMEA presence for the global conference in Chicago. So that's another challenge that I will take as a stretch.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And maybe last but not least, I know you discussed this before about your professional journey, about, how it's important to stay curious as one of your main pieces of advice for anybody who would like to be a leader in marketing, let's say. But I will say that advice honestly applies to anybody really who wants to progress in any type of profession. So I would just like to ask you one more time, maybe to develop on, let's say, biggest lessons that you learned, or the most impactful mentor you've had, and what did you learn from them, and how they really propelled your career or helped your career in any way. So, because we all know a lot of the times on these journeys of ours, professional especially, there will be amazing people that we meet along the way who inspire us to do something better or to do more or encourage us. So maybe if there was somebody that encouraged you or helped or advised you, that would be great if you can share.
Yeah, that's a good question. So if I come back to the first piece, when we say what kind of advice, in marketing, you are doing a lot. You are starting with execution because there is an event, there is something to do. So you are doing the execution. Don't miss the visibility part, especially after the event. Sending an information on how it went, numbers, and create that awareness around you about what was a success. So really being visible, not only doing, but also making sure people know what you do. And in terms of mentoring, I have a great example at Nutanix. So I've been lucky to partner with Sami Zoglami, he's EMEA SVP. So for me, what is the most impactful when I see him leading the regions, the theater, is that he do that with competence, is super competent in his work, but also with warmth. And I think you need both to be a great leader. Warmth and competence, to be respected and to inspire people to go in the direction you are guiding them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Laurence, thank you so much again for your time, for the wise words you shared, for your insights and knowledge imparted. I definitely learned something from you, and definitely something that I will personally take away from this. And just by speaking to you, I can tell you're a warm person, but there is this hidden, machine behind it. So, competence with warmth is probably something that I will take away mostly from this. Curiosity, of course, AI being something to really keep up to date, learn, and figure out as we're all trying to figure it out, because it will embark some challenges, but also it will maybe help us as well. I think as long as we find the right balance and we kind of find this quality assurance and we check the quality of AI, because the human touch cannot be forgotten in all of this. So I will take away all of that with me, and I hope whoever is going to listen to this will learn as well. Thank you again so much. It's been wonderful, and I hope we can get to do this again.
Sure. Thank you for the invitation.